that what Malcolm X said when he got silenced by Elijah Muhammad was in fact true. America's chickens are coming home to roost. We took this country by terror away from the Sioux, the Apache, the Arawak, the Comanche, the Arapaho, the Navajo. Terrorism. We took Africans from their country to build our way of ease and kept them enslaved and living in fear. Terrorism. We bombed Grenada and killed innocent civilians, babies, non-military personnel. We bombed the black civilian community of Panama with stealth bombers and killed unarmed teenagers and toddlers, pregnant mothers and hard-working fathers. We bombed Gaddafi's home and killed his child. Blessed are they who bash your children's heads against a rock. We bombed Iraq. We killed unarmed civilians trying to make a living. We bombed a plant in Sudan to pay back for the attack on our embassy. Killed hundreds of hard-working people, mothers and fathers who left home to go that day not knowing that they never get back home. We bombed Hiroshima. We bombed Nagasaki. And we nuked far more than the thousands in New York and the Pentagon. And we never batted an eye. Kids playing in the playground, mothers picking up children after school, civilians, not soldiers, people just trying to make it day by day. We have supported state terrorism against the Palestinians and black South Africans, and now we are indignant.
Come on, fire.
Because the stuff we have done overseas is now brought right back into our own front yards. America's chickens are coming home to roost. Violence begets violence. Hatred begets hatred. And terrorism begets terrorism.
Dear friends, I think it's now time to at least have a first balance sheet, not the last, a first balance sheet of the Obama presidency. As many of you know, the images of the campaign are still vivid. Big, large mobilizations in the United States of young people primarily, desperate for change. And the slogan of that campaign, change we can believe in. Change, change, change. But what has changed and what hasn't changed? There has been, of course, a change in the presidency. And we can't complain too much about that. There is a new vice president also in the United States, and we can't complain too much about that. But the defense secretary is the same. That's the guy who sits in the Pentagon and organizes wars. And the reason he was kept on was to show that there are both elements of discontinuity at the top and very strong elements of continuity. And the reason for that is that if you wear Caesar's clothes, you have to behave like Caesar.
I got to ask you a question. I do not I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you. Thank you.
You know what's interesting about this whole idea of this intolerance and this hate and this terrorism thing? I noticed from the debate the other day, it wasn't the debate actually, it was this conversation he had. There was this woman who said to McCain, Obama is an Arab. Right. And he said, no, ma'am, he's not an Arab. I thought, oh, this is wonderful. He's repudiating this kind of intolerance and hatred. He said, no, he's not an Arab. He's a good man.
Right. He said he's a decent citizen.
Yeah. Hold on. What if I said to you, what if somebody said, I heard he's a Jew, and I said, no, he's not a Jew, he's all right.
Right.
I hear a guy's a Catholic. Catholic? No, he's a decent guy.
Right. Yeah.
Arab and good person are not antithetical to one another. This idea of that prejudice that we've allowed to fester in this campaign, where we've allowed this idea where denying the fact that Obama, who, yes, is not an Arab, nor is he a Muslim, but we've allowed that denial to turn into the acceptance of both of those things as a legitimate slur, is really a problem. You know what I mean?
But the irony of John McCain...
Say, these aren't slurs. These are categories of human being. They're not slurs of people. And no one in the media...
Go ahead.
Hi. Yeah. During your speech, you made a lot of references to Jewish people as well as certain people in your audience, not Jewish people in general, but certain people, especially in your audience, to Nazis. Now, that is extremely offensive when certain people are German. And they're also extremely offensive to people who've actually suffered under Nazi rule.
I don't respect that anymore. I really don't. I don't like and I don't respect the crocodile tears the crocodile tears. No. I'm sorry, folks. Allow me to finish and allow me to finish. Listen, sir. Allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. Sir, I don't like to play before an audience the Holocaust card. But since now I feel compelled to. My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother, please shut up. My late father was in Auschwitz. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on my father's side,
the Jews did not take arms against the Germans.
My late father was in Auschwitz concentration camp. My late mother was in Majdanek concentration camp. Every single member of my family on both sides was exterminated. Both of my parents were in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. And it's precisely and exactly because of the lessons my parents taught me and my two siblings that I will not be silent when Israel commits its crimes against the Palestinians. And I consider nothing more despicable than to use their suffering and their martyrdom to try to justify the torture, the brutalization, the demolition of homes that Israel daily commits against the Palestinians. So I refuse any longer to be intimidated or browbeaten by the tears. If you had any heart in you, you would be crying for the Palestinians, not for what's been done.
And I tried hard to be proud of my service, but all I could feel was shame. And racism could no longer mask the reality of the occupation. These were people, these were human beings. I've since been plagued by guilt anytime I see an elderly man, like the one who couldn't walk, who we rolled onto a stretcher and told the Iraqi police to take him away. I feel guilt anytime I see a mother with her children, like the one who cried hysterically and screamed that we are worse than Saddam as we forced her from her home. I feel guilt anytime I see a young girl, like the one I grabbed by the arm and dragged into the street. We were told we were fighting terrorists. The real terrorist was me, and the real terrorism is this occupation. Racism within the military has long been an important tool to justify the destruction and occupation of another country. It has long been used to justify the killing, subjugation, and torture of another people. Racism is a vital weapon employed by this government. It is a more important weapon than a rifle, a tank, a bomber, or a battleship. It is more destructive than an artillery shell, or a bunker buster, or a Tomahawk missile. While all those weapons are created and owned by this government, they are harmless without people willing to use them. Those who send us to war do not have to pull a trigger or lob a mortar round. They do not have to fight the war, they merely have to sell the war. They need a public who is willing to send their soldiers into harm's way. They need soldiers who are willing to kill and be killed without question. They can spend millions on a single bomb, But that bomb only becomes a weapon when the ranks in the military are willing to follow orders to use it. They can send every last soldier anywhere on Earth, but there will only be a war if soldiers are willing to fight.